So Final Fantasy XIV is coming out with a new deep dungeon called Pilgrim's Traverse. It's going to have the aesthetics of Ilmeg, somewhere around there, but I'm afraid it's going to be the same thing as it was before. Even though we're seeing all these screenshots, I'm not too hopeful they're really going to change what deep dungeons actually are. So I really want to talk about it in today's video. For those of you who do not know what deep dungeons are, they are side content. The original Palace of the Dead, which was the first deep dungeon, had 200 floors, and there are two others, Heaven on High and Eureka Orthos, which only have 100 floors. The point of the content is reaching the last floor. Every 10 floors, you reach a boss and you must fight them. The main thing that you have to do on each floor is find a way to get out, and the only way to really get out is to defeat enough monsters for the passage to the next floor to open up. And as side content goes, it is a good distraction. Maybe you'll get a title from it, like in Palace of the Dead, you can get the Necromancer title. It's one of the hardest things to get in the game, and I don't really know what titles you get from Heavens on High or Eureka Orthos, but I'm sure they're worth it to get, I hope. Now from Palace of the Dead, once you reach a certain floor threshold, you'll be able to be eligible to get a very exclusive and very rare mount, but it's not likely for you to get it. It's kind of like a 1 in a 10,000 or 100,000 case to get it. I speak of this because I don't know whether or not Eureka Orthos or Heaven on High has a mount or minion or any kind of prize, because there really is no reason to go into the deep dungeon content at this point of time. It's really only side content. Not a lot of people are doing it because nobody really wants to go through 100 floors of basically nothing for no reason whatsoever. It's usually for an achievement, and Final Fantasy XIV isn't full of achievement hunters. People want to get their reward, and as fast as possible. If you've seen the whole Savage and hardcore crowd, they're really doing it so that they can get better armor to do the other content, which gives them more armor, which I don't know what the real prize is at the end of the tunnel for Savage. I know Ultimate gives you a shiny weapon, but in Savage we'll give you shiny weapons just as well as a point of achievement. But the players want to get their rewards. The players want to get what they want, and they'll go through anything to get it, especially going through plenty of guides. I want to talk about guide culture in another video, but just know that 14 is full of people who want to get their rewards as fast as possible. However, not everyone wants to go in to just get their reward. Some people want to work hard to earn that reward, and I'm part of that camp. Getting the Necromancer title is one of the things that I want to do for Palace of the Dead, so I will continue to try to get that. However, when it comes to the other deep dungeons, well, I just don't know. When they debuted Eureka Orthos, I was kind of happy to see that they're coming out with a new deep dungeon. My problem, however, was whether or not Eureka Orthos was going to change up the formula of the design of deep dungeons on how they are, because I do have a bit of a problem on their design. Deep dungeons is a very simplistic and straightforward piece of content for Final Fantasy XIV. All you're really doing is defeating enough monsters to go down to the next floor. And while doing that, you're leveling up 2 pieces of equipment, your weapon and your armor, which both have different level stats and numbers. You can level them up through blue chests. You're also collecting items that are exclusive to deep dungeons called Palmanders, and what they do is help you out through each floor. They have different effects, and they do change up from one deep dungeon to another until they got what they really wanted with Heaven on High, which is kind of the same in Eureka Orthos. But overall, it is a piece of content that anybody can do. It's very much optional for any size party or solo, and for me, I'd like to do them solo so I can challenge myself with at least some sort of content to give me, I don't know, a brush of danger. Seeing how the game really does cater towards the casual crowd, making a lot of the content, especially MSQ and story, being very easy to go through, I at least have deep dungeons as a piece of content that I can do if I wanted to squeeze my balls in a vice grip. However, with the new deep dungeon Pilgrim's Traverse coming out, I am fearing that it's just going to be another one of the same, another one of Heaven on High or another one of Eureka Orthos. I imagine it's going to be the same hallway, square room, hallway, square room, hallway, square room, and honestly, I've had enough of that. I don't want to go through another one of, oh yeah, it's another deep dungeon with Palmanders, with you leveling up stuff to 99. I'm kind of done with that kind of content. And I know I said I'm in the middle of Palace of the Dead. That's been a thing that I've been trying to do for years, and I never really get the time to just focus on it, but I just want the Necromancer title. Once I get that, I'm done with Palace of the Dead. You see, my issue is the repetitiveness of the content and how it is played. I understand that they can't do too much within Final Fantasy XIV due to the code being messed up. And having taken coding classes, I kind of fear what that coding language and what they're doing with the code. I don't want to look at it. I really don't want to see it. It kind of makes me feel like that they've created some sort of monster code that no one can really disassemble and try to fix whatever's in there. But I do want to express that I would like to see certain changes, and maybe this can be done, but allow me to explain what I would like to see different in the changes that I would make if I could with Deep Dungeons. So firstly, I would like to make it more roguelike. I would like the layout of the dungeons to be changed. No more just hallways and square rooms. I would like it to be a different size room, maybe circular, maybe it have some verticality, maybe there's some jumping puzzles added to it, something to make it unique. Because these rooms that you go through when it comes to Deep Dungeons are very static and plain. They don't really excite me, nor does it have any aesthetics, even if you put lava everywhere, or if it's like a graveyard, or if you throw me into a water temple. As long as it's just a hallway and a square room, I'm just gonna be bored. I would like to see more roguelike, maybe different terrains, maybe a jungle, or some sort of snow plain, or a desert, or something. I know I'm asking for something that is just aesthetic here. I'm also asking for rooms to not just be hallways, maybe different shapes. All types of shapes, and not triangles. Triangles probably wouldn't work in this matter, but different kind of size circles, make the rooms unique in some form or fashion, some actual roguelike elements within Deep Dungeons. Now I know it is basically supposed to be a roguelike because hey, it's different rooms but in different ways and different shapes. And sometimes you get the same shape anyway, so I don't know if it's truly roguelite. But I am envisioning something like Diablo. You know, when they drop loot just as well, and you get to pick up unique pieces of armor. It can be exclusive for Deep Dungeons. You don't need to take it out of them. It could just be exclusive for Deep Dungeons, but maybe different types of armor with different rarities and different additions that can probably affect how the character works within the Deep Dungeons. Additional spells, skills, some sort of element to it. Change up the materia. Have materia be in there and act like, you know, something from Final Fantasy VII or something. I don't know. Make the materia more interesting rather than just raising your stats, or keep the materia as something as raising your stats, but being able to collect them and, you know, socket them, fuse them, make them stronger to make you stronger, to make the run easier while going through the Deep Dungeons. I would love to see some sort of change within Deep Dungeons, because I'm honest when I say that the repetitiveness of the same content that we have gotten 3 times already is kind of getting to me. If we do get the same thing as we did before, then all I can really say is that I'll try it, I'll see what it's like solo, and then I'll probably never touch it again. If we keep getting the same thing over and over and over again, nothing will ever change, and nothing will ever bring us back to content that we've seen over and over and over again. Feeding us the same gruel with an extra salt, pepper, or some sort of spice is not really going to change the gruel from being gruel. You know what I'm saying? You can only serve me the same dish over and over again until I get bored of it, and unfortunately that's how I feel for Deep Dungeons. I think that if it was more of an ARPG, more roguelike, I think a lot more people would be into it. I think that if loot dropped from monsters and chests alike, and they had different rarities and different additions that kind of changed your character for what it was, then I think it would be more interesting. I hope that perhaps after this Deep Dungeon, because I know it's not really going to be any different, and I hope to eat my words when it does come out, but I hope that in the future deep dungeons do make a sort of change. And hey, it could change in the next patch. I could be wrong about this. You know, I mean, Pilgrim's Traverse, I hope it is what I want it to be. And if it doesn't end up being that way, well, I hope future deep dungeons would become something closer to what I think deep dungeons should be. But again, I am only expressing what I would do to change what a deep dungeon is, and hopefully some of you guys would understand what I mean by all this. But you know, let me know in the comments down below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please leave a like or a dislike, and if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe. It's real easy, and you can always change your mind later. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.